Hello and welcome to the United Devil channel. With me, of course, JB. I hope we're doing really well today. So back home after the trip to the park today. I hope we're all really well. It's kind of nice to be indoors. It's really hot today. Not that I'm complaining on this 12th of August. As we've already reported today, Garnacho pretty much still done. 35 million. I don't know. We're waiting for the outcome of that one from Ross Harwood. Again, we can talk about that. Toxic United in the chat already. Hello, my friend, legend of the chat. I hope you're doing really well. So I'm going to slightly start off with a skewed on this one. So Garnacho to Chelsea, pretty much done, as we've already said it is. Ross Harwood, if you check him out on X, I'll big him up all the time. I think he's been fantastic on Shesko, Belieber so far. We can talk about Belieber. There is a little bit of an update, probably not what we want to hear, but there is an update on that. However, I'm not unconvinced that that I'm still calm on the deal, but I'll go with Ross Harwood. A lot of you come into the chat and say, who's that? You know, is he a credible guy, etc. So he's gone. The Belieber stuff he's been gone on. He's been really good on that. And now we have a keeper situation. So the Donnarumma situation is this. I'm just gonna have a little look. Let's have a little look. Now, for those of you who obviously doesn't know who Ross Harwood is, I think you might need to sit down for a second, because this is not coming from Ross Harwood. This is coming from Fabrizio. This is coming from I completely get, with Ross Harwood, for me, I go with what I think, logically, what I believe is right. I look on both sides and there's no smoke without fire. Now, this is not coming from Ross Harwood. This is coming from Fabrizio. Now, Fabrizio, in one of his tweets as well today, you look at one of his tweets and he's done the Donnarumma with a blue flag with eyes, which meaning watch this deal. So Fabrizio's update in the last 16 minutes is Manchester City have made contact with PSG to ask for the Donnarumma deal conditions. Current PSG request is around euros wise about 50 million. Deemed too high, plus deal would only be possible if Ederson leaves. Chelsea are not in the race. Gio will soon clarify his position as follows. So that's now you can obviously read into that or you want to. You can read positive or negative into that. Earlier to that, he did say that basically City are in for him. Now you can take what you like from that. So James Trafford has just gone to City as well. So I think when you look at what he's gone for and the net of what they spent, I think it was £17 million. James Trafford went to City as a new number one. Ederson replacing him. And now, one of the reasons why James Trafford left in the first place was because he wanted more game time. So he's had a chance to go to Newcastle. So Newcastle were blown out again. That's just another example of where they've been let down again. And now it transpires that Pep wants Gio. So as we stand, and this is from the horse's mouth. Temskin says, I like Carlos Belieber, Donnarumma to I'd make a plan for signing. Yeah, as per usual, getting in the old chat there. So the Donnarumma deal, again, if you watch this channel, we always talk about it in the chat. I think we all have a consensus that we like the deal, we like the player. I've always said he'd be very expensive. Toxic random question: Do you have a FPL group? I don't actually. I was actually thinking about setting one up. So if you're all interested in it, then I could always set one up and send you a link. So let me know in the chat if you would be interested in a fantasy Premier League, and we can set one of those up. I think that would be pretty cool. Obviously just for fun right now, and obviously if the channel progresses, then I'd more than happily make it a financial incentive. But right now, of course, time to bring Lemens and build him. Thank you, Tobias, for the chat. So if you have just joined, normally I quote Ross Harwood and a lot of the things that he's done. For those of you who are not a Ross Harwood fan on this deal, this is not coming from him, people. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano. There's 2 tweets that Fabrizio has done. He's done the eye symbol. Happy birthday to Delit, who turned 26 today. Happy birthday, buddy. Happy birthday to him. He's coming into his prime years as well now. So, he's been around a very, very long time. So, I'm hoping he gets into this team. Now, there is some update on a centre-back position, actually, that we can talk about. I've not put it on the thumbnail, but we can talk about that. For those of you who have joined, the Donnarumma deal that we were hoping that we could do, 26 million around that, 250k. Fabrizio Romano, and this is not Ross Harwood. This is not if Ornstein, this is the level that if Ornstein was to drop this as well, we'd all take note, and we have to take note on this one. We've got to. I think I've been consistent. Toxic, I agree. The new kit is fire. I had the original black kit. I think I've still got the original black kit somewhere around, but it's in I had it when I was about 8 or 9, I think. So he's like a small boy. So he's not going to fit me now. But yeah, I sort of had that kit. I might try and find them and stick them up on the back wall there to see those kits that I sort of had when I was a kid. So the Donnarumma stuff, I have said, and not because I want to be right on this stuff, and as I said today on the stream, I hope I'm wrong on this deal, but I never thought that we were going to get him. I never thought that we were going to be in for this deal. Not to say that I'm right on this one, not to say that I want to be right on this one, but my logical brain, looking at the club we're dealing with, looking at him and the agency that he's with, looking at what he typically does, he runs down his contracts with every club he's been at so far. He's with an agency that always do best for their clients. His wages are very, very expensive. I always thought this was going to be more of a difficult deal to do than the Belieber deal. And I never thought it was going to be one in our 60-40 against. We have to, as a club, go for these deals, and we have to be in there, right? But I think he'll come out in the next couple of hours and say where he wants to go. I'm just looking for the tweet again now. So if you have just joined the Donnarumma stuff, if you're sort of looking for signs as to the deal potentially happening, this is not coming from an independent. This is coming from the horse's mouth itself. This is coming from Fabrizio. Unfortunately, Man City has made contact with PSG to ask for the deal conditions for Gio. Current PSG request is around 50 million euros, deemed too high. Plus, deal would only be possible if Ederson leaves. Chelsea not in the race. Gio will soon clarify his position. That is where we are on this one. So I never really thought that we were in for this deal. Go back and watch the videos. We have spoken about this on here. I think we were all in agreement, including myself. I think this would be a good deal for the keeper. Never convinced about the financials on this one. I think City, if you still want to clutch to hope on this one, City have just signed a new keeper. So they've re-signed James Trafford, that is, and they signed him, and the net effect of what he went for, what they signed him back for, I think is around about £17 million. Okay, now he's under the illusion that he's number one, going to replace Ederson on this one. Exactly the bias. Exactly, he snubbed the snubbiest club this window, so he was going to go to Newcastle. They made a bid for him. going to pay £27 million for him. Obviously, he snubbed them. Ryan Goodwin, just found your channel earlier, mate. Good, down to earth. Contact, just sub. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate that, mate. That's what we try to do here. The one thing I will prefix this with, I'm not a dictator. We're going to have our different opinions. I'm going to have a different opinion to you. You're going to have a different opinion to me. But what I will always try to respect your opinions. I think it's really important that we try and get our opinions on here. Come in here for this amazing chat. I get driven by this chat. I'll be talking about one thing and then we veer off. I think it's really important that we all get our opinions in. There are some times where I don't agree, and we debate that. That's what we do. This is set up here for United fans to really come on and just have a proper chat, not a pretend this is for everybody, and then you don't get your voice or people try to shout you down. We don't have to agree. I'll put my opinions across. Doesn't mean that I'm disrespecting your opinions. It's just I'm the one that you can hear. I drive my opinions, and you can come back at me, and we debate these things out, right? Sometimes I can maybe amend my opinion, maybe based on new information. But if you look at what we do here, we do try to be logical. I certainly follow logic as much as I can, and the things that I hear. I do get sent stuff now. The channel is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't get sent a lot, but I do get sent some stuff. So I put all these things together and I come out with an opinion. And luckily so far, we've been accurate as we possibly can be. The chat stuff, if you get into the chat, some of the things that I said in the chat already, some of us are hammering in, some of us are hammering out. We all share the same common goal, but it's basically how we get there in the end. So if you have just joined the Donnarumma stuff, I think a lot of us will be disappointed, including myself, on this one, even though I never thought the deal would get done. I thought it was too expensive. Weak foot, we need. I know weak foot, but City don't need him, and this is the thing. So the difference is, when a world-class keeper comes up, it doesn't come up often, and when they do, and they're not going to sign a contract with a club, and they come out, you should go for them. When City, even though they've just signed a new goalkeeper for 27 million, who's come in under the impression that he will start, Ederson will be on his way out. But it was a choice between Ortega and Ederson. Who's going to leave? Ortega, I don't know if he has left. I'm not close, so I don't know about that. But obviously, this is. I mentioned I'm trying to prepare. Are preparing to try for Belieber. Toxic, and what have we been saying? That's what I said yesterday. That's what we've been saying on here for quite some time. As I say, go back over the video, go back over the chats that we've had. Like I've said already from James Harwood, and again we went on this one. We went early, and I quoted Ross Harwood. Sorry. And as I said, you watch over the next couple of hours, maybe the next day, the bigger ones are going to come out and say it. And lo and behold, we could be proved right again on the Believer stuff. So if that is true, then we're 2 out of 2 so far. Let's see where we go. I do have a little bit of news on the Believer stuff as well, just to be fair and logical on this one. So we'll come out with them. So goalkeeper wise, where we are on it, I think if City go for this deal, it's got City written all over this deal, to be honest with you. I think they will go for the deal. And if they do, and we do, I think they will get him. I've never been convinced on the deal, only because the sums of money involved, and what we're trying to do as a club is we're actually trying to move. So I'll read it again for one last time about the Fabrizio, and it is Fabrizio, so we've all got to take note. And so find it again. Have a little look. Look. Okay, so Fabrizio Romano again says that, where are we? Okay. Says that Man City have made contact with PSG for the Donnarumma deal conditions. Current PSG requests about 50 million in euros. Deemed too high. Deal would be possible if Ederson leaves. You mean we're prepared with ourselves, ready to spend 100 million? Yes. So toxic. So I was wondering myself where all this money's going to come from. So if you look at Kieran Maguire, Swedish Rumble, these two are well respected people, and like respected, in their own right. Kieran Maguire is like a financial football expert. So basically what we've done, or what we've got, is a credit facility that is now high. It goes up to 300 million. So that's why we can get these deals done. Now, as reported, was breaking news, the Garnacho deal is going to get done. It's pretty much done. Ross Harwood, again, I'll credit him on that one. That broke. He broke that today, and what you're going to see, like we said with Belieber in the last couple of days, is that that's going to break, and lo and behold, things are breaking on that all of the time. Sancho's going to break. So Garnacho is going to break 35 million. Now, is this, I don't know the structure of the deal, if it's 35 with add-ons, or not including add-ons but with some add-ons, or 35 million plus a sell-on clause of whatever it is. So maybe we could, maybe we can pivot to that as well. So 100 million is coming from this credit facility that we got, and we do need to sell. Højlund is going to go to AC Milan. You're going to see that deal. I think we'll get a here we go on Højlund to AC Milan, 6 million euros loan fee, and then 40 with an option to buy. Let's have a look again. So the stuff breaks all the time. Okay. Yeah, so we have a credit facility in place. So we don't need to sell to buy. We do need to sell to balance the books. So as long as we get it into this financial year, so financial year ends 30th of June, as long as we get these sales in by then we're fine. So Garnacho has a breaking story. It's already done, and I spoke about it from a park with the kids about an hour and a bit ago. That's done. 35 million. I'd love to know what you think about that. I'm not happy about that deal. I think Chelsea are, if there was a way to report them on that, but then again, is that just me being a child on that one? But you've got a young boy who's made himself look like an absolute, he's toxic, he's awful. Get him out of the club, and we can use that money for Belieber. Now, this is why I think the Belieber deal, as now is being reported by some of the bigger guys. So Jacobs, obviously Ben is on the United stand. He goes on TalkSport. People believe the things that he says, and now he's coming out with preparing a bid. We were always like just preparing a bid for him. Sorry, just more stuff. Oh, Jesus, always stuff goes when you're live. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so that is where we are on that one. Now, the Belieber stuff, I do think that this will drive the Belieber deal. Now, gives you a little bit of an update on that one. I'm still calm. I still believe that we're going to get this deal done. I'm still on board, and I'm still calm on this one. Now, Simon Stone, again, respected. We one of the respected guys in the industry for BBC. Simon Stone can be very negative. Now, there is a little bit come out come out for him, retweeted actually by Ross Harwood. I'll be fair to him. So as a well-rounded look at this, so Simon Stone has come out and basically said he's not getting the impression Brighton's stance on the midfielder Belieber is weakening. Brighton have key and stressed they've no desire to sell Belieber, whose contract goes until 2028. They're sticking to their mantra. Whether the player accepts the fact or not is another matter. So you can sort of read into that. Is that Brighton putting it out to the press? Look, are you going to offer 85 plus 15? Actually, we probably want closer to 90, 95 plus 10 or 15. So, and also there's from what I've read and things out there, like the board may even try to block this deal in terms of, what you're dealing with this as well, is what you've got to understand. And what I've always said on this one, even though I'm calm and I do believe that this deal under normal circumstances will get done, I still think the Belieber deal will get done. But we've got to accept is there's always a possibility that these deals don't get done. Now the problem is that trying to convince a board, because you've not only got the football side, but you've got the monetary side as well, is that you're going to have a financial side and then you're going to have the board side. The football side are pushing this, so Amarin is trying to push this deal. But there's a football side, so there has to come a point where you have to have people in there who go, look, we don't think this deal is quite right at that price. Now, whether we all think that we think that that's the right thing to do, the board may go, well, actually, we don't think it's kind of worth the money. Now, we all know, and the football people may know, but ultimately the board make that decision as well. So I think we have to factor in and be logical about this and talk of the possibility that the board may block this deal. I don't think they will at the current price, and Brighton may want more now that they know that we are interested and we need it, that the board may just go, actually no, we don't want this deal. So I think what we need to accept is that this deal may not get done because we might be priced out of that deal. So we do need to be realistic on this deal. I'm still calm. I still think this deal is going to get done. I still believe that more than anything else. So I think as long as we keep calm on that, I think we need to be logical on this, and I think we definitely need to be calm on this one. But I do think that this deal gets done. So that's where I am on that one. So if you have just joined the Donnarumma deal, it looks like he's going to go City. Now, Joe has put in, I'm going to give you one name and shows Donnarumma is not going to play for City. His name did make a good joke about Joel. I don't think that matters. I really don't think it matters, my friend. I think when a goalkeeper, and again, I am hoping that you're right on this one, my friend. I really am hoping. I again on this one, this is one of the things. This is one of my thoughts and my logical thoughts that I have, whereby I want to be proved wrong on this one. I'm more than happily to be proved wrong and be just like, no, you're wrong in this one. But I really think that when a goalkeeper like this comes up and a world-class keeper comes up, I don't really think it matters. I think he will do what's best for the team and best for the club, and I think he'll go for him. So Trafford, to me, I don't think it really matters. I genuinely believe that if there's an opportunity to go for it, then I think that is what's gonna happen. That's exactly what I think will happen. So I'm hoping I'm wrong on that one, and it's come from Fabrizio. I am just again, checking again, just to see basically where we are on this one. Where are we? Anything else come out? can't see much coming out at the moment. City would have spent 80 million keepers. That kind of says, well, Joel, you say that, but I don't think it's going to be 50 million for him. Trafford, when you look at the money they pay, I think it was like 27 to 30 something. But don't forget, okay, so City, this is how good a deal it was, okay? So they received 17 million. They actually, when they bought him, there's a sell-on clause in the Trafford deal, and because they bought him, they got the sell-on clause off of the price. So I think it ends up being they something like paid 14 million for him. It's something stupid like that. Let's have a little look. See where my volume is today. Okay, let's see if that works. See if that's all the way up. Yeah, I definitely do need to improve the sound on this one. As I say, as the channel progresses, the equipment gets better as well, and then everything else gets better as well. So I think Joel makes some really good points. I really do. I think his points are sound. I think any logical person would come to that conclusion as well. But with City, I don't think it really matters. Cheers, Joel. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. So I think that they would get. I think they'd get that. I think they would get that deal done if they want to. Just looking again, so many things. Kick off. Jesus. So yeah, so that's where I think that we are with that deal now. As I say, Belieber, Simon Stone, again respected. Probably people know him more than Ross Harwood. Ross Harwood still remains calm on that, as do I. I still think we're going to get this deal done. I still think that this deal is going to be more expensive than we all think and more than we all hope it to be. As whether, I wonder if how the fan base perceives it and whether they're comfortable with that. I'm comfortable. I think the age, the profile of the player, I think that the length of the deal will be absolutely fine. I'm not concerned about Newcastle, where it looks like it might be true about his price going up. Exactly. I think that his price has gone up. I never thought this deal was going to be easy to do. 26 million always seemed too cheap. There's a year left on his deal. I think that when you're looking at a keeper like that, 50 million euros is what, 40 something. He screams a Turkey deal like a few experts. Joel, again, I think that I don't disagree with that. But again, does he follow the money? If he goes to Turkey, then obviously he follows the money. I'm not saying that the Turkish league. Manchester Village says hi. Hello and welcome to the show. As many new faces and chats are brilliant. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying hello. It does mean the world to me and the world to here. So if you have just joined the Donnarumma deal, for me right now, the more that we talk about this and you guys impact my opinions on this all of the time as well, even though I do have my own opinion. My own opinion, based on a lot of different stuff over the last couple of days, has been I didn't think we were going to get this deal done. Hopefully being wrong on that. I think when there's an opportunity to get a world-class keeper, you should always try. I don't even think we're going to try at this point. I think that this deal's too expensive. That's where I'm at. I just don't know. Where are you from? You can speak English very well. Thank you. I'm from England, obviously. No, I'm from down south. So I'm from Essex. I've been supporting this club for 30 eight years now, and yeah, so that's where I'm from. I'm from down south. I'm from Essex, not a typical Essex person as it was, if you kind of are aware about what they are. Yeah, so that's where I'm from. That's huge that Radcliffe is pushing for this Belieber transfer. Not often the owner gets involved. Let's see. I mean, if that's true, I don't know how true that is, but one thing, and again, I'm very consistent on here as well, okay? One thing that you will learn about me is that I will speak my opinions on the Glazers, INEOS, okay, and the football side of it. Now, I think it's fair to separate different parts of it out. You can have an overall opinion on different things. Thoughts on INEOS? Oh, God. Okay. What are my opinions on INEOS are this. Let me see if I can sum this up really easy. So my thoughts on INEOS are, up until this point, they've done an absolute terrible job. Okay? It cannot be disputed up until this point that they've come in, they propped up the Glazers. I'm still of the opinion they have increased their share of the club, not by much. Now, I never believe, and I still don't believe until I'm proved wrong, until the debt is gone, and until I'm proved wrong on this one. I'm still of the opinion that they are here to make profit. They are here to be the front of the regeneration stuff for the Glazers. Okay, and I'm not okay with that. Anyone that supports the enemy of this club, and Sir Jim is that. Now, up until this point, INEOS have done not a lot. They've done a lot of talking and a lot of, different football stuff. But even I will say that this season, I feel like there's a slight shift. Now, what you can do is I can separate out personally, because I have to be logical and I have to be fair in this. So I separate out INEOS, the business, INEOS supporting the Glazers, and INEOS on the football side. On the football side are starting to do things. I do need to temper this with, and I will say this, is that we've made 3 signings, and one of them hasn't played yet, one of them's unfit, and Cunha's kind of been here, but again, he's not completely fit. We still have the 15th side. Now, they have done better. The transfer window, if they go for a Belieber, then in my opinion, then the football side, they are taking the football side. Now, where I will concede is that even if what happens, and whatever happens, they possibly are going to be here. They're gonna demolish the ground and the club. I'm not up for that, but there's nothing that I can do. I will be vocal and not support that. But if they are serious on the football side, and this is what I've always said, that's one of the facts to this, is that if they are going to make us title winning side, don't forget we still won titles in the European Cup under the Glazers, but they've never put a penny in. Hesty said, "Yeah, I might do that again. Actually, I'll spin that round." So that was on a let's see if I can do that right. Let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can do that. There you go. Look, who's to say that I can't change it on the fly? Eh? Here we go. Let's do some camera changing. There we go. That's it. There you go. So that's where we are on it. Obviously, I do have plans to change in here, by the way. So let's give that a little change. There you go. That's a lot less blander, isn't it? So yeah. So INEOS for me, business side, I'm unconvinced, but I have to be set fair on the football side and say they are doing some good stuff. Now I'm gonna temper that slightly and just say, look, let's see if they can do it again next season. Let's see what the football side do. But I am encouraged. I'm encouraged that the Carrington thing's been done. I'm encouraged that they're building a team. And this is what ultimately I wanted to see. So, INEOS for me, I still have my opinions and my concerns, major concerns. I'm never going to fully support or fully acknowledge people who keep the Glazers in charge. But again, like I say, this chat impacts me. The things that people do impact me. Am I still a fan? No. Do I still think that they're here for profit? Yes. But football side, this is why we are all here as fans. We still have to keep an eye on the background, but we also have to acknowledge the football team side as well, which we are seem to be doing. So let's just keep an eye on that. Let's just see what goes on. But INEOS for me are still on really, really thin ice. But again, I totally respect people's opinions on this. They've done quite a lot this window, so I'm never against anybody that wants to be INEOS in, because everyone's entitled to their opinion. I do think you get toxic people on both sides. Whether you're an INEOS, you have to be INEOS in, or you're a scumbag, or you have to be INEOS out, or you're a scumbag. I don't believe in that. I believe that people have the right to have their opinions. And I think that's what's really important, is that we constantly keep talking to each other about this side of things. And ultimately, we just want the best for a club. And what happens. They are custodians. And eventually, we will see in future about what happens. We got Stain. So he starts saying, I think that we can slowly start to put the Radcliffe as a Chelsea fan thing to bed. Yeah. I think I always thought that was a... I've said that as well at times. I think that that's a little bit of an easy thing to say. Let's see what he does. Let's see what he continues to do. I don't believe that. I also don't believe he's a lifelong United fan either. I still don't buy into that. But he has to do something, right? So he has to do something good. So sorry, he's doing this again. I keep checking because things happen whenever I move or whenever I leave or something always bloody happens. No, all good so far. So where we are, I'll do a little bit of a recap on this as well. So the Donnarumma thing is looking like City are in the race. This has come from Fabrizio Romano. So this is, I know people, whoever you decide to follow and whoever you decide to think is right. Ross Howard for me is really, really good. He's not come out with this one, to be fair. So Fabrizio has come out, and I'll read you the tweet again. Manchester City have contact with PSG to ask for the conditions of the deal. Currently, PSG are requesting around 50 million. It's deemed too high. The deal would only be possible if Ederson leaves. Now, I think Saudi would be the perfect place for him. I think City would do that deal. I really do. So I think he'll come out and give his stance on where he's going to go, and that's where we are on that one. So I've never genuinely believed that. Sorry, guys, just got to keep an eye on all this stuff. Right, update again. So another update for you on this one as well. So in the last hour, Fabrizio has come out and said that so Galatasaray have now made a direct approach for Ederson as their main target. Donnarumma option never seemed as concrete with Galatasaray on the table. Let me just put this into the chat. Galatasaray. Galatasaray in for Ederson. There you go. So, this is obviously starting to move, and I think, as Joel said in the chat there, the Donnarumma thing, it looks like he's got a Turkish bid all over it, when actually, in fact, it looks like it's an Ederson to Turkey deal. So, Joel, you may be right on that one, but I think you might be right on the wrong keeper. So as you just said there, Fabricio just come out with this. Galatasaray have made a direct approach for Man City, for Ederson as the top keeper target. Key to this could be City pursuing the Donnarumma deal. I think there you have it. I think we're out of this race now. I've heard a load of people and channels say this, that they would be happy. Oh, his camera's moved again, hasn't it? That they would be happy if we didn't sign a keeper, and they would be happy basically with just Belieber. Now, Belieber for me, I think is definitely one we need to get, but would I just be happy with that Belieber deal? 100% not. Belieber for me, I would be 100% happy with the deal, but not happy just with a Belieber. I think we need more. I think we need the goalkeeper as well. So if we go in with Belieber, which I think would be an astounding deal, I think it would be an amazing deal, we need a keeper as well. So there are, again, contradictory reports basically saying that if we went for Belieber, we wouldn't do another deal. Trafford should put in a transfer request if this happens anyway. Exactly, Joel. I think that's done. I think, as we've said on here as well, that deal is done, and I think we need to move on quickly from that deal. It is the right thing to do to talk about it. It's 100% right thing to do to be in for that deal. I've always thought that, because when a world class keeper comes up, and you definitely would go for it and make a play on that one, I think that's 100% right thing to do. But Lemens for me was always that one that you try to do, and I think that is where we go. I think that unless Onana goes, it's very difficult. We're not City, we're not in that place just yet. So I think that he's gone. I agree. I think Trafford should try and get a loan out. I agree. I think that's a very difficult thing to do. I think that's a difficult thing to do. It's just this stuff coming in all of the time. Thick and fast today. So where we are on this one is the Donnarumma deal. I think we need to forget that. I think we're done. I think that's moved on. Get your opinions in on that. If you think that's not quite right, you think now that City are involved, that do you think that there's a deal we should do? We should still pursue that deal. And just look and see if there's anything else breaking on that one 22 hours ago. No. Whether you think we should do that deal, I think we walk away from it. I think that is the sound thing to do. We walk away from this deal. I think it's a logical thing to do. I think Joel's right. We put this one to bed. Garnacho, to follow up on that video I did from the park today, that's a done deal as far as I'm concerned. Oh, this camera is absolutely the bane of my life. Absolute bane of my life, this camera. So as I continue from this morning, Garnacho, it's a done deal. 35 million. And again, we've been consistent on this channel as well, roughly about the price as well. I've always thought he's run about 35 million, but I am in agreement with anybody in the chat. I think that this is a disgusting deal for us. Somebody said that would you wish him well? Do you think Chelsea would do well with him? I really don't care. Again, if you've been on here and you kind of know the person that I am at the moment, is I'm one that I want all our young kids to do well. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and and that's where I'm at. I want young kids to do well. I want our guys to do well, to move on, and I have a really great career. But this kid has disrespected us. There's a picture that's come out of him holding a vape, and that was done purposely. That is, he's a malicious, he's a ill-advised, and he's a father. He's an ill-advised young man who he's going to go to Chelsea. I think that's the totally wrong deal for him to do, and he's going to suffer for it. And Chelsea know that even if he does well, and I think that we're forced into this position. I think it's probably the right thing to do. My stance on it, for the record, is we let him rot. We let him rot. We impact his value. We stop him from going to the World Cup. That is what I would do. He was demanded. So there's a thing come out that he's demanded that it's either Chelsea or nothing else. This is the ego of the kid. This is the ego of the young guy. And I'm of the opinion that let him go for 35 million. I think it's a travesty. I'd want that money up front, not a structured deal over 2 years or 3 years. If you want him 35 million, I want the cash. Give me the cash. I don't wish him good luck. I don't wish that he's going to do well. Just go off and do your stuff. And I think that's enough that I think I need to say on that one, because otherwise I may say something that I regret and can't take back. And ultimately, he is a young kid, right? What else is there? I'm trying to think before I go. Is there anything else to bring you? Højlund, I think that's... Sancho's gone really quiet. He used his social media to make Chelsea fans love him, and then using media again to make them hate him. Exactly, Hesty. I think that I just think that he's been ill-advised. I think he's just been ill-advised, and it just goes to show Amorim's right. Okay, whether we can all, I can say, and I've said this, a red flag. So before all this came out, I said that it was a red flag for me that Amorim let this kid go, has devalued him. I can't understand why he's done what he's done. And Amorim's been proved right. Amorim's been proved absolutely right on this one. And again, as I said, it was a red flag. Now, for me, my opinion on this has changed, and this is what happens over time, right? Your opinion can change over time. I actually think it's a green flag. I'm going to give credit to Amorim for this one, because I think it was the right thing to do. I was always of the opinion that Amorim has devalued him. I don't know why he did it. We needed him, to be worth 50 million, and Amorim impacted his price. I'm totally with Amorim now on this one. I think he did the right thing. There are things that we obviously didn't know. There were things that we didn't. There were things that we didn't know about this player, and now we do. And Amorim's right. So I think these are now positive things from a time where I personally thought that Amorim was probably wrong on this one, but he's right. So Amorim, again, like INEOS, the football side, is starting now to show, and we're right as fans, I think, to question. I think we're right as fans to question and make opinions at the time, and then it's then how you then, when you learn the right information and the correct stuff, is then how you come back at that. And I'm not so proud to say that I was wrong in this one. I think I was wrong. I think Amorim was correct in this one. At the time, you can't see because we're not in the club. We're not intrinsic to the club. We're not part of the playing staff as such. So Amorim was right on this. So I think the biggest INEOS outers on the football side, like myself, have to go. You know what? I think they've upped their game and they're doing the correct things. And those on the Amorim outers, who were very much like, he's made a mistake and on this young kid, maybe they now need to go, well, actually, do you know what? Maybe he's done the right thing. He's kicked these players out, and then let's see what happens with the team against Arsenal. Can he take these players? Can he take these mishmash and riffraff of players who finished 15th and actually improve them for next season? So I think we're at an impasse here where we're now going to start to see Haaland go. We're going to see Garnacho go, thank God. Anthony, there's a little piece on him whereby he's waiting for his move. He's just, again, he's acting again. I always thought Anthony was a decent guy. A move away, Amrin's kicked him out and away from the club, and he's been proven right again, because even Anthony, who I give credit to and thought was doing okay, even he now is behaving in a particular way. So Amrin was right to exclude him from the side. Sancho, we all know what he's like. So I think the sooner these players get gone, again, INEOS got to give credit to them for that. So let's get this Belieber done. I do expect a bid to go in for Belieber the next couple of days. We're going to see the big boys start reporting on Garnacho, going to see him start reporting on the Belieber stuff. Let's keep an eye on that Belieber Simon Stone piece, where we may get a Brighton are not willing to budge. That's an indication to me that they want big money, and it's whether or not we would be prepared to do that. So let's keep an eye on that over the next couple of days or so. And I think we're gonna get some good stuff over the next couple of days. Now, I'm going on holiday on Wednesday. I'm going to get a couple of things done. So what you probably will see is you'll see a couple of streams of me away on a beach, maybe with some water. But again, as I've always said, I will try and bring you the news when it hits, when it happens. That's my commitment to you guys. And that's where we're at. So if anything else does break, obviously I will jump on and give you all the news that I can. I am on X. Feel free to follow me over there. And as I always say, guys, you can't buy time. You give me your time. You give me 10. You give me a minute, a second. Whatever it is. You can't buy that time. It still blows my mind, and will always blow my mind that you do give me your time. So I can only thank you to those in the chat. Hesty, Jar, Toxic in there, Neil becoming a legend of the chat, Manchester Village, Toxic, Weakfoot, Ryan Goodwin, Tobias Oliver is in there as well. Temishkern, guys, just amazing chat. You really, I love the fact that we all don't have the same opinions, or we may have the same opinions, but sort of different and varying views on that, guys. So thank you so much. So as I say, if anything else does break, I will jump on, let you guys know wherever I am. So stick around, turn on the bell just to let us know. Kai Hansen says, could buy Belieber a bit cheaper, get Hackney and loan Belieber back to his club for one more year. Everyone wins. Kai Hansen, that's a different opinion. I've never thought about it in that way. I think that's a very interesting opinion on that one. I think Hackney would be a great signing. That will be a great signing. But I think that you're not going to spend 110 million on a player and then loan him back, mate. That's just not going to happen. And I think we get Hackney as well as Belieber as well. So you don't get Hackney and then loan back Belieber. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong. That's a different opinion and an interesting opinion, Kai. But I think if you are going to spend that much money on a player, you don't loan him back. And he'll go into our first team. He's ready-made to go. We're not going to do that. And I don't think I would sanction that as a deal myself. But it's an interesting opinion. Really is. So on that note, guys, thank you for the comments. If anything else does break, I will be back on. Have a good rest of your day, morning, evening, whatever you do. Stay safe. And I'll see you very soon on the next one.